school board meetings originally scheduled for the June 10th and July 8th, 2025 dates have been canceled. Although board meetings are not typically held in July, a meeting will take place on July 22nd, 2025 to accommodate these changes. This adjustment supports contractual obligations related to preparations for the 25-26 school year and allows staff to use their vacation time in early June. Thank you for your understanding and flexibility. So just to reiterate, we will have public meetings June 24th and July 22nd. This will allow us to meet the contractual date of July 15th, where we have to do a lot of bumping and checkerboarding and bidding, and also look to fill those dates. So there's going to be a lot of work come July 15th. So there will be public board meetings June 24th and July 22nd. Thank you. At this time, I would ask the board to please join us in the first row of the auditorium. We're going to pull the big screen down for our presentations. Thank you.
Kids. Hello, old people. Good. They ain't changed these seats since I went there.
Sit in the middle. No, I'll sit right here. I'll sit right here.
These are our revenues. Again, we exceeded, our expenditures exceeded revenues by $533,000. So we are pulling that $533,000 from a debt consolidation fund balance to level budget and to submit a zero budget to the Department of Education. And again, there's no tax increase in this 25-26 fund budget. This was something we expressed publicly. The projection in 24-25 was that this final budget would have a deficit of $7.1 million. We can see that exact deficit a little bit higher because the cost of things, inflation, just as you would be able to expect 15 months in advance when they made that presentation. But they were projecting a remaining deficit
Superintendent, before you go on, can you explain to the public how you're going to use these people, and they're in addition to the SROs that we currently employ?
Yes, so that's a strong point of clarification. We have SROs currently in the primary, in the high school, and in the IS here. We are continuing to keep our SROs. We feel strongly in the importance to have our local police officers inside the building. So these officers would be guards and monitors, mostly in spaces where we don't have eyes and ears throughout the building, and our hot zones when we need them. When students arrive at the high school, for instance, we need them at certain locations. We also will have them do exterior checks or exterior doors, and then they will be at the discretion of the building principal. They work for the building principal of that building. We believe that you should walk into a security guard when you enter our buildings. And so this will definitely be in collaboration with our local SROs.
My name is Aaron Kelly, I'm the President of Chemical Protection. Thank you, members of the board, and Superintendent, for accepting the proposal. Better? There you go. All right. My name is Aaron Kelly, I'm the President of Chemical Protection. First, I'd like to thank the members of the board and the Superintendent for selecting our proposal to provide security services to Chartiers Valley. This opportunity means a great deal to me personally. Chartiers Valley is my home since we moved into this district when I was 10 years old, 46 years old now. I graduated in 1997. My wife is a graduate of Chartiers Valley, and I put both my daughters through Chartiers Valley. Mike Zarnecki, my executive vice president, graduated with my wife in 94.
every security officer would have a firearm.
No.
It would
Right
depend.
now, that's something we're gonna need to discuss with the board and the administration and everything, obviously exactly the needs that you're looking for. My personal suggestion, no, not every single officer would need to carry a firearm.
And we normally wouldn't really discuss the protocols of how things occur to the public.
Roger that. So,
Let's take one more question back there.
yes, ma'am.
How many security guards will be at each building?
It's a great question. Don't have an answer for that yet because we will have to meet with the board and the administration, come up with, and this is the key, what's best for Chartiers Valley. We do not want to just throw extra bodies where they're not needed and have people paid for those services. I'm a taxpayer. Mike's a taxpayer. My parents are taxpayers. You guys are all taxpayers. We're going to be very cognizant working with the district to make sure you have the right amount of coverage. I don't know what they mean.
That's not correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have a safety and security update. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Hebert. A lot of you know me. I've been in the district for a while. As of this past November, I was also became our school safety and security coordinator for the district. Michael Bennett's behind me is our director of information technology. We're sort of here to talk about safety and security for the district. A lot of proposals you'll see on the agenda for tonight, the rationale behind it, and so forth, four things. So first off, safety and security, very fundamental, as Dr. Stagnan talked about earlier. Looking about how to ensure that best learning environment. We know if a kid does not feel safe and secure at school or in any situation, learning and those capabilities can't happen. So safety and security does need to be forefront for things. All our proposals tonight are all through a very comprehensive investigation of our current systems, looking at the application integrations, how things work together, and then also the impact on our students and staff. And then finally, as Dr. Stagnan said a lot earlier, also everything that we're talking about was in that initial budget proposal that was approved. So the first thing, not a financial thing at all, is our emergency operating plan. So every year, the district is to update our basic emergency operating plan, and that is a public document. So that it was on the board agenda for tonight. That pretty much goes over just the basics of our district. What type of hazards do we look at? What type of systems do we use in general? But does not go into any of the specifics that are confidential for things. All those things that are confidential, these are the annexes that we have to our basic plan. Those aren't public because once again, we don't want people knowing our procedures in those type of emergencies for things. The basic plan, as I said, is updated once a year, or at least once a year. It can get updated at any point. Same with these. So if we had something happen, so we say, hey, this needs tweaked a little bit, we can make those tweaks right away and put that into place for everything. But we look at the function of different things, different specific threats, whether it's anywhere from a tornado, which we never have, to flooding, to loss of power, to the very severe things also, like an active shooter or things like that, which hopefully we never deal with, but we do have plans in place. We also have reunification in there and communication also. Because we know in case of emergency, you don't have time to really think about like, hey, what am I pushing off to families? So we have some basic scripts already created in that communication plan, how do we communicate things out. Physical safety and security. So quite a few things on the agenda tonight. The first one is our security camera and door access control. So just like the security guards, there was an RFP put out earlier in the year. Through that RFP, we funded 5 vendors who submitted proposals for that. Why do we need these security cameras and door access controls? First off, our system is an aging infrastructure. Some of our things are up to 15 years old in the district. Usual life expectancy is 8 to 10 years for things. So we're at that life expectancy part. We have several blind spots within our buildings for cameras that we're trying to address through this. And then door access is only available on a few doors, and it's not automatic. then the last one here is the Infinite Campus workflow, which sounds very confusing when we say Infinite Campus, but that's the official title of the 4 things. And there's several components of that. The first part is the digital hall pass. That is, once again, all about safety and security, about knowing who's where for things. So it allows us to monitor real time where students are throughout the building, prevent students with known conflicts from being in the hall at the same time, and then it also can set limits to the number of people that are going to a certain spot. So for instance, here somebody can punch out on that, it's going to say handling the guidance office. So they're at the high school, they're found over in the athletic wing, the SRO, campus safety admin, can see very quickly that, hey, this person is supposed to be in the guidance office, why are they over here? So it helps that accounting also for things. It can also say that, hey, the guidance office is limited to 5 people right now, so it can deny them until somebody checks back in. And in this university, what's going to teach can always call down to the guidance office or so forth, but it sort of allows for some checks and balances there also. It also has advanced attendance features to help families and also for school accountability. First one is checking in, checking out seamlessly. So right now, as a lot of you know, you check your kid in late or check it out early, you sign a little piece of paper usually. This will all be computerized, so it's accurate up to that very moment of who's in the building and who's not in the building. You can submit your absence requests online, so like an educational trip form, your medical notes. Instead of those Google forms, it'll all be integrated right in here for you. Counselor nurse visits, all sorts of stuff like that. And then automated notifications also for things. So a lot of little added bonuses there for us too with that. So it's got all about how to keep our buildings safe and secure, make it the best for our students, the best environment here. And that's all I have. Thank you. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I lied. I do have 2 more slides, 1 more slide. Next year note, I was talking about next year note. At the fall next year, I really think it's nice to help the parents and families a little bit more about safety and security, things that are going on. Once again, not going over any of our confidential stuff, but talking about the I Love You Guys Foundation Stance Response Protocol, talking about what can you do in case of a really emergency, talking through all those things. So we're also having an evening event for families to come in and hear about some of those things also. So look for that information coming out in the fall. You get the personal teaser about that too. But once again, we just want to keep you informed about our good safety and security. And now it says thank you, but go ahead.
So, talk about real quick that the difference between how quick you get to learn versus if you would have to go back to the computer and check it. So, because it's cloud-based system.
Okay, for the security cameras and
Yes.
access control. The one really great thing about being a cloud-based system and a unified system is it all ties in seamlessly together. So what we can do is we can set up alarms for different criteria. So for instance here, we can say that, hey, any door is propped open or left open for more than 30 seconds. Send a notification to the SRO, to the administrators, whoever that might be. It might be that, hey, if a vape detector goes off, take a video clip of 30 seconds before, 30 seconds after the hallway, or 2 minutes for the hallway before or after, and then email that automatically to the administrators. So instead of somebody having to sit down and be like, okay, let me scroll through this, find the right spot, it's going to send those clips. Same with the door access. I said it can set up an alarm. It can also pull up a video camera clip and email to you that says, hey, 30 seconds before it's propped open, send me a picture of who is coming out. And so I send you that 30-second video clip. So we can know exactly whether it's a student, a staff member, whoever it might be that propped the door open. We'll know right away who it is. We can address it that much quicker for things. So it really is that instantaneous. You don't have to go back to your computer at your office, sit down, pull it up, look through it, all that. It happens automatically for us for everything.
And the other point was on the warranty, how easy it is to replace and install.
So yeah, so with the warranty, as I said, it's a 10-year license and warranty. So if in year 8, let's say a camera breaks, that's covered under warranty. So they will replace that for us automatically and free. It'll be the new version of the camera too, if it has to. There's a new version of that, so all gets replaced for free. Also with being cloud-based, any type of new rollout
something to emphasize. There's no risk of personal turnover again. It's just we have staff and employees, but we are the people you see. And we're committed to quality control. Like I said, the best way for us to keep our business going is to please our clients and have them hire us again and again and again. And working in only education, we understand the demands of working within a public school. There are unique challenges in working in a public school. The results of all that is we've never had a claim filed against us. And in this day and age, that's something we're very proud of. We've never missed a school opening, and we have a proven track record of no change orders. One of our recent projects had less than 1/10 of 1% change orders, which is extremely. This is just our layout. All of our consultants that we use answer directly to us, and they are also structured just like we are, where the owners are the people that are doing the work. They're the same size firms that we are, and we use them over and over and over again. So we know them, they know us, they know schoolwork just like we do. This is just a list of some of the districts in the area that we work for. It's mostly Allegheny County. You can see we've got pretty much the county covered either currently or in the past. One of our bigger projects was a district-wide renovation at Norman School District. At the time, it was the largest school project in Pennsylvania. We did 4 brand new elementary buildings. We renovated their immediate school. We renovated their middle school. We renovated their high school. We did an athletic facility for them. We did an administration space for them, maintenance garage. We touched every single building within the district. This is just one of the elementary schools, before and after pictures of it. This one, the before picture doesn't really show what we did because that building was in a state that it was level, and it's a brand new building. It wasn't that issue. This was another building that was leveled. It was a very small elementary school, six classroom school, and it was leveled in the elementary building there too. Ontown was a brand new building on the high school site. Hillcrest is a good example of some renovation work that we could do. This was a renovation, so the top picture is what it looked like, the bottom picture is what it turned into. So you can see we can really change the look, not only the inside, but on the outside of the building as well. Same thing here, this was a renovation. That is the same building from the same angle before and after. The high school, we did some things with the high school. We put an addition across the front. It used to have 3 wings that made circulation very difficult in the high school. We put an addition on. It connected all 3 wings and reduced the time it took the students to get around. That's before and after the stadium and inside of the stadium. This was Penn Trafford School District. We renovated their high school. That's the media center before and after. Shadyside Academy, one of our clients is a school client, but not a public school client. We've worked with Shadyside Academy for decades. Norwood Middle School is auditorium similar to what this one was. It looked very similar to this auditorium before we started, and the lower picture is what it looked like when we finished. Gateway School District, we're currently the architects still there. We just finished up a middle school renovation where we consolidated 2 middle schools down to 1. So that's one of the reasons we're here tonight, because with that project finishing up, we are looking to take on another school district. Greater Latrobe School District, we did a lot of work for them between this is the stuff for the stadium. We also did a brand new elementary building. This was the building that came in with change orders. Some of the work we did has been published nationally, so that's just some slides, some of the national publications that happened. And again, to close out, we're moderately sized asset-based, meaning we don't have any debt.
was the firm name?
It was Gonzalo Associates back in the time, that firm no longer exists.
Consult.
Yes, NJC.
They were one of the biggest ones.
Yes, we worked for them before we passed some years ago.
Nice.
Mr. President, that concludes our presentations.
Okay. Freezing down here. Okay, moving on to public comments on agenda items. I'd like to invite any resident or taxpayer of the CVSD who wishes to address the board to please state your name and address when you approach the board. We appreciate your interest. Please keep your comments to 2 to 3 minutes. Kelly, did anyone sign up on current agenda items?
Yes, first is Emily Marco.
And how many people signed up? Just so I can mark.
For the agenda items, 6. And
Perfect.
Emily Marco, Scott Township, 43 Clairview Drive. Since I only have 3 minutes, I'm going to have to skip all my comments on the exceptionally long agenda that maybe you should have not canceled all those meetings for. But I'd like to talk to us about something much more important than all of that. And that is the 31 teachers who will be resigning that are on your human resources report. I was hoping that maybe the board would have invited all of them tonight to give them an in-person thank you for all of their service. But unfortunately, I guess the little note at the top of the HR report is all they're going to get. But I would like to recognize them. Charles Barber, Mark Barzan, Sarah Bennis, Michael Platts, Renee Bridges, Cynthia DeJames, Holly Dietrich, Jude Fleissner, Mr. Barzan in high school, and my son M now has had Mr. Barzan. And man, that guy, he just makes you feel so important. I know my time's up, I'm sorry, but I'm emotional because all of these people matter. And I wish that every single one of you made them matter just as much. I know some of you do, but these teachers are impacting lives for generations and generations. I'm sure each of you have a teacher that you can think of that impacted you. And I would just ask that we all give them the respect and the recognition that they deserve, even if some of these, which I know some of them personally retired early to try and save their colleagues' job. But I just want to recognize all of them.
Next is Thomas Rubrance.
Good evening. Thomas Rubrance, 352 Vanadium Road, Scott Township. First, I'd like to speak on agenda item 5.1, the student representatives. I would like to personally congratulate Brady on his graduation. Wish him all the best at college. And thank him for giving his time year after year to his fellow students and the families of Chartiers Valley School District. So congratulations, Brady. Also, I want to mention how great it is to see Layla out volunteering in the community. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Next is agenda item 6.3, the payment in lieu of taxes. I wrote this at about 3 p.m. And then I'm going to go a little bit deeper as to what I found out later on. I trust that the solicitor will provide information both to the board and for the public to see before a vote is called. However, it should be best practice that this information be provided in advance of the meeting so that the public can do their due diligence, become knowledgeable on what properties are proposing a pilot agreement, and form an educated opinion on if the proposed pilot agreement is beneficial for all parties involved. That was at 3 o'clock. Sometime this afternoon for, I'm going to guess, a very limited amount of time, around 4:30, the PDF of the pilot agreement was actually available, and I'm thankful that I checked when I did, because I saved it, and then I read it, and it's no longer available. So I'm going to give that information because it wasn't published in advance. It is for the Providence Point development, and just the main part to talk about is that it is for 20 years, so multi-generational. It includes payment for the first 4 years of $750,000 per year. Year 5 is $450,000. Years 6 through 19 goes down to $110,000, and on the 20th year, that payment is only $60,000. I believe that these properties were quoted as being over $2 million, and in 20 years, when a majority of us will have moved on for whatever reason, be it age, movement, what have you, and then our kids' kids are going to be part of this school district, we're going to get $60,000 from that property. Doesn't sound really good to me. Maybe some of you don't know what the art of the deal is. It's usually something that goes like your first offer, your best offer, and your final offer. And it's great that this is heavy at the top, but it sure is really long and really stinks at the bottom. Thank you.
It's obvious, yeah.
Just to address some of those comments. So first, these are negotiations, and those negotiations have to be kept confidential. The plan is, if the board accepts the pilot, and then Providence and Baptist Homes have their own board that accepts the pilot, then it becomes public. I believe what you did pull online was an amended version. It was not a final version that the board saw tonight. But again, it's easy to look at a case in litigation from the distance and make an assumption or make a determination on what you believe. But being on this side of the table and beside our solicitor through those negotiations, we are not in a leverage situation with this organization. They have some favorable litigation that went into their favor. They know that, and the longer this was prolonging, the lesser the offer came back to the district. So this is what we believe is the best financial decision at the table right now for the district, and why we made that recommendation. And hopefully they also will agree to these terms, and then we can publicize what that deal was. It is a unique situation they have with a religious exemption. UPMC, I have a lot of dealings with them in my previous districts where they have a medical exemption. It's tax exempt, and they could buy all kind of properties and no longer have to pay taxes on those properties. It's a similar situation with the law, and the law isn't in our favor. So we had to take what deal we could take and make an offer to the board that we felt was the best at this time. Mr. Rakunas, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
I don't think so, Dr. Stagnon. You summarized it perfectly, and again, these are exceptions that we really can't discuss much more in public because, again, these are part of negotiations of a litigation matter.
Next is Alexa Soretti.
Good evening, Alexa Soretti, 276 Sunrise Drive, Collier Township. People spoke on May 20th. They voted against the board majority's recent decisions, cutting classes, furloughing teachers, and outsourcing transportation. People came out to vote for supporting teachers and school staff, protecting and enhancing the curriculum, and spending our money wisely. Speaking of, I want to start with agenda item 12.2, the proposed agreement with Kellington. You're proposing that we sign a 6-year contract for 5 additional guards at an average rate of $35 per hour. If they work 8-hour days, that's $72,000 a year, and offering them health care takes us to over $360,000 a year. I'm not questioning their professionalism or integrity. I was happy to hear that SROs will still be a critical part of safety. I'm questioning why now. We are in a precarious financial situation, and that's a lot of money to be spending. Lastly, I want to comment on 2.2, the final budget. A budget is not a plan. Some board members have boasted publicly about balancing the budget. All you've done is manage income and expenses in the short term by cutting, and cutting. The real work is developing a broader, longer-term roadmap to achieve financial stability for our district. We've seen nothing that indicates this board is thinking beyond eliminating teachers and limiting class choices. If you have that plan, I encourage you to share it, and share it now. Your constituents are waiting.
Next is Samantha Fulmer. Samantha Fulmer, 1452 Green Tree Road. Boy, it's been a while since we've been here, had one of these. Kind of wild to have all these many things, major decisions, packed into one night, especially after so many meetings were canceled. But I guess we're making up for lost time. First, the architectural plans. Why is the board voting tonight to approve a new architect of record when you just approved a different one at the last meeting on April 8th? That decision was already pushed through with minimal explanation, and now a month later, we're changing course, again without any public conversation. What was the point of that vote in April? And how are we taxpayers supposed to have confidence in any of these decisions when there's no consistency or transparency? Why didn't we get a presentation like the one we had tonight last month? Now, I want to be really careful with how I say this, because I know we all agree that student safety is the agenda feels like a lot. I'm not questioning the importance of safety. I work in a school. I get it. But I do wonder if this is becoming excessive, or if we're rushing to approve everything all at once without pausing to look at the bigger picture. Was there a study done to justify this? I want to see the report showing that this was necessary. And I also wonder, have we involved our township and borough police departments in these decisions? Where I work, all school safety decisions go through our local police department for feedback and coordination. Are we doing that here? If not, we should be. Our local departments know our schools and our community, and they should absolutely be part of that conversation. The district and the police department should be partners in keeping our schools safe. I'd also like to hear the PD's feedback on the Kellington proposal. Another big concern I have is about student data and privacy. Some of these schools track where students are, when they're there, and why. That's a lot of information. How long is that data kept? Who has access to it? What safeguards are in place? Can parents opt out of their students being tracked? We need answers to these questions. Lastly, I want to bring up Reveal Math, Alex, and School AI. As a teacher, I really want to know, what was the process for selecting these programs? With Reveal Math specifically, how many teachers are piloting it? What kind of feedback are they being asked to give? And what's the rubric or criteria that will be used to evaluate whether it's a good fit for our district? Were other math programs even considered? If so, what were they? And how did this one rise to the top? Also, it sounds like we're putting a lot of weight into math and its results as a veteran math user, I can assure you, math is not the end-all be-all. It's really hard to support something when we don't know how it was chosen, who's testing it, or how success will even be measured. Thank you.
Next is Leslie Clapperidge.
Leslie Clapperidge, 320 Sunrise Drive, Collier. It's extremely concerning that from meeting to meeting, there are significant changes in what is transpiring with this board and administration. At the April 8th meeting, this board voted on an architect of record with very little conversation. At this meeting this evening, a new architectural firm is presented. At the April 8th meeting, the superintendent stated that this was only in the case that at some point in the future, there was work. However, this was obviously a lie. There was already something in the works. It is concern to me that we are again spending money to relocate administrative offices, i.e. our superintendent's office, when we are cutting programs and teachers. If we are creating new classrooms, where are the teachers for these classrooms? I'm also concerned that we are looking at voting on another contract with Kellington. I became even more concerned this evening when I heard that there is no plan for how many officers will be in each building. We're voting on a contract with no anticipated spend. What is our anticipated spend? How much are you spending? Where are you putting people? This is ridiculous. You do not go into a budget not knowing what the plan is and how much you are going to spend on the execution of that plan. We've been told, as I'm sure many people are aware, that Collier Township has offered to pay for an additional SRO. Where is that additional SRO? Wade Shirazi went around saying that he was going to offer to
just have to comment on one thing. First and foremost, there are no defined projects yet. There are only discussions with the board. I did state that we have an architect of record last meeting until another architect of record is named. That's the process. After that meeting and discussion with the board, we decided we wanted to go into another direction. So I didn't lie to anybody, number one. Number two, we are approving a proposal from Kellington for a contracted rate per guard, which was one of the best prices we received per guard. The board will decide, with a recommendation of the board, on how we will use those guards. And in August, back to school, we will show all of the parents our new security plans that we have in place. Third, we never had an offer for a free SRO. I will take that offer today. Publicly, I'll accept it if someone wants to give us a free SRO. I never received that offer. Last, how many students are going to receive the robotics instruction compared to the PLTW? About 20 times as many, because we are using this with every student in every grade. That's our plan. It's not just a class you take. There was a lot of things you said there that were false.
Hi, Chris Lerno, 617 Superior Street, South Township. I have a couple comments about the Kellington deal. I don't have anything against Kellington. I just worked in the security in this district for 14 years and had to give it up, okay? I had both of your kids, okay? I had them in my school. I worked at primary school. I just want to make sure that you're doing what's right with the kids, especially the ones where I was at, or the babies. They need extra TLC, and I want to make sure they get that. Okay, that's all. I'm asking that they get the right training, that they have the right training. Okay, the primary school has a lot of kids who have special needs. Do your guys have training for that? Do they know what to do with the kid who has special needs? You know, are they going to go up and this kid's crying in the hall? Are they going to walk up to him and say, do you know what's wrong? Or are they going to walk away? That's what the parents are coming to me about. That's what the parents want to know. Okay? I just want to make sure that they're getting the right things, the right kind of care that they need, that they've gotten for 14 years from me. And I did. I love my job. I still love my job. I'm still with the district because I love this district. I love working here. Okay? And it's sad. It's sad to see.
Chrissy, I've known you a long time.
You have.
I totally understand where you're coming from. And I'm more than happy if you want, you're more than welcome to come on board if we're elected.
You're not going to pay, you're not going to put into my pension, and I'm not going to get rid of that. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I do. But they wouldn't even talk to me about my contract to keep me on board. My contract is up.
Like we treat our own kids. And that's the thing. We want to come into a place. School districts I've never been a part of. We come in, we become part of the district and the community. Imagine how we're going to treat this. Where
I
we
hope
are
so.
part of the community and district have been for the past 30
I truly hope so, because I'll never be able to turn off what I did for 14 years. Never. I go out, God bless you, and nothing against Kellington. I watch him pull in every day at drop off, and he sits in his car, and I don't know what he does for 10 minutes while the kids are getting off the bus and I'm directing traffic. I don't know what he does. But I'm just hoping there's going to be more. And I think that's what the parents definitely see that. They have no idea what the guy's doing. But, you know, next year, as this is right now, they have, you have, as you're putting 5 people in. That's what this thing says here today. 5 people?
Nothing's
No?
been decided.
I'm sorry?
A number in each building has not been decided.
Okay. What I saw online said 5, there was 5. But that's not, there's going to be more than that.
So the meetings over the next couple months will determine that. Meetings with the police, the SROs, administration,
I mean, that's what I saw online was that there was 5 people that were gonna be put in.
It's listed as a rate per person, so.
I didn't see any rates, I just saw that there was 5 people, armed and non-armed, somebody for the football games or whatever, for that, there was 5 people on that, but that's not right then. So there will be more, is what you're saying.
Well, what I'm saying is, they'll determine how many people we need, so
Gotcha.
there might be more people one year than another year, or if something comes up, like if there's an event, then they would supplement versus the SRO.
And I just truly wish that some of the stuff that they're gonna offer would have been offered to me and the people who have quit in the last year through the security system. It's not fair, it's a slap in my face how much they're gonna get paid as to what I got paid. And I understand that they have more training than I had. I took every training that you guys offered me. Everything that was ever offered to me, I took. It is a slap in my face, and I'm a little salty about that, but I got a new job, and I'm a paraprofessional in my school, and I absolutely love it, and I'm staying where I want to be, and still observing what's going on with the kids and watching, watching out for their safety. I'll never quit doing that. That's all.
Thank you.
Any more comments?
That's it?
Yeah, more comments.
Okay, I'd like to announce that we had an executive session prior to this public meeting to discuss personnel, legal, and safety matters. On to the superintendent's report with the student representatives.
At this time, we'd like to recognize our student board representatives. Dr. Saban.
Yeah, thank you. We want to thank Brady and Layla for their services. It's hard to be up here, especially on school nights during the school year, so let's give them a round of applause. And we have a little gift for each of them.
And Brady and Layla, I have to say, hearing Layla about your volunteer work on election day, also I see at the high school involved in committees and taking responsibilities as a student. Brady, I don't think I've been to a performance at the high school that you weren't a part of. So you are very involved. Both of you are really making the most of your high school experience here and are really the model of what we want all students to do, and that's get involved. So thank you for your effort.
And thank you for participating in Dr. Castagna's advisory committee. I think that's important for the students to get the board feedback of what's happening in the school. Thank you and good luck. And now you can give your report.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This month in athletics, we've had some magnificent happenings. First, I will go to the girls lacrosse team, who after an amazing season made their way to the Whitfield Championship that took place at USC last Friday. However, after a great game, they just couldn't defeat Mars with a final score of 15-7. However, the team will move on to states, which is slated to take place sometime next month. Now to girls softball, who after an amazing season ended with a 13-6 record after losing to Penn Trafford in the playoffs on May 14th. Their season ended. Next to track and field, who took many different competitors to the Whitfield meet hosted at Slippery Rock on May 15th. One highlight from the event was that pole vaulter Tommy Crowley broke his own school record previously set last year with a 14-9 vault. To close, I would like to offer all of our spring athletes the deepest congratulations on their work during the season. It is truly amazing seeing all of you play your sport. I would also like to take a moment to thank the members of the board as this is my last report, so thank you all. It was my deepest pleasure serving as a student representative over the past 3 years. That is all I have to report, and have a great evening, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Lots of great things have been happening at CB, especially since I last had the chance to speak. This month, the high school choir and orchestra went to compete at the annual Music in the Parks competition. 2/3 of the way through their trip, they stopped at a local school, and each group performed a select number of pieces as a means of audition. Following this, they went to Hershey Park to ride roller coasters and play games before the big award ceremony. Cadenza Chorus won top of their category, and Select Choir placed second in theirs. All groups received trophies and certificates for their participation. Then last week, the show band went on a 3-day-long trip that consisted of stopping in Kentucky to see the Newport Aquarium, then had a day full of fun at the Great Wolf Lodge Water Park. Then they went to Indianapolis to partake in the Indianapolis 500 pre-race parade. There were 200,000 onlookers. Before coming home, the band then stopped at Kings Island Amusement Park for more fun. Now, I would like to take a moment to give recognition to my other half up here, Brady. I think everything that I was going to say has been said already. So congratulations to you. You've been a very good friend to me, and I appreciate it greatly. And congratulations to the rest of the class of 2025. The teachers leaving us this year also deserve a great deal of recognition. I had a number of them, and they are amazing people. I wish them all of the best in this next journey of life. Have a great summer.
Okay, thank you. Solicitors report? Yeah.
I'm recommending a motion to approve the agreement with MBM Collections LLC and MBM Law for the collection of delinquent real estate taxes effective May 27, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second. By Ms. Heaton. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to retain the law firm of Marcus and Shapiro LP as the district special counsel for all construction litigation matters?
So made.
Motion made by Ms. Heen. May I have a
Second.
Second from Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the tax pilot agreement as presented? 6.3.
So made.
Motion made by Ms. Heen, second by Mr. Brodsky. Any discussion on this item?
Discussion. This bill, this agency, I've been dealing with these folks for a number of years. I'm not a fan of them, and they're not a fan of mine. Me, sorry. Everybody in this district pays taxes. These people, they just want to give us one chunk of money. Everyone up there should pay taxes. I think the cheapest probably apartment or condo up there is $450,000. This school district should be receiving $2.5 million a year. But
I'm going to recommend that we don't comment. It's still pending at this point. So
Okay.
until
All right.
it's approved, I think we should limit comment on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, certainly. Can you have a roll call, Kelly?
Mr. Brodsky?
Yes.
Mr. Cora?
reluctantly, yes.
Mrs. Drury? Yes. Mr. Olinger? Mr. Montani? No. Mrs. Sexton? No. Mrs. Trainer? No. Ms. Heen?
Since the last one was turned down, I have to say yes to this.
And Dr. Mariano?
Yes. So the motion passes. On to the informational agenda. Mrs. Sexton for Shasta. But didn't Shasta meet? Yeah, you guys had a...
We attended the Shasta Student Recognition Banquet. Ms. Sexton, myself and Dr. Sable, I don't know, is that the last time we met, right?
We haven't had a meeting since then. You want to update?
That's all, okay.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, the Pathfinder School, Mr. Erlinger is not here, so I do not have an update. Allegheny Intermediate Unit, Mrs. Trainer?
Yes, Allegheny Intermediate Unit met on May 19th. We approved a collaborative with Project SEEKS, which is specifically designed to help with opiate prevention and a curriculum for our students. There's additional support for the Bridge Up program. This is a program that supports those who have associate degrees and other degrees to make their way into the education field. We had a presentation on the success of public schools in Allegheny County and the AIU's commitment to an informational campaign that speaks to the value, dedication, adaptability, and collaboration of public schools, and speaks to the strengths that we wish the public knew and understood. This campaign will roll out in 25-26. I will be attending the ELT workshop to talk about the strategic plan of the AIU and the goals moving forward on June 18th.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Chura, Parkway West Career Technical Center.
Yes, thank you. Parkway West had their graduation. Usually every year we switch schools, we go to different schools, but last year South Fayette hosted, they did a fantastic job, but we didn't have enough seats, so the board decided to rent out Robert Morris College. They did a phenomenal job. We had about 1,600 people attend. So they did a great job. The CV students were just absolutely wonderful also. Number two, our great, incredible grant writer. We just received our third grant this year, $356,000. That brings a total up to about $900,000 for Parkway. So our grant writer, the guy's just the best. And that's to buy replace different capital equipment. Also, CV had the largest honor list this last quarter. We had 31 students. So very proud. Thank you.
Well, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the board meeting minutes from April 8th, 2025? Motion made by Mr. Montani. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Trainer. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the Human Resources Report for May 27th, 2025? Motion made by Ms. Heen. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item? I would, as somebody stated, like to congratulate everybody that did take the retirement incentive and wish them luck in their retirement. It certainly probably was very difficult for many people to make that choice, but we appreciate the work that you did at Chartiers Valley, and I'm sure you'll do great things in retirement. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. The superintendent recommends, and I so move, to elect Joan Werner as board treasurer for a term of 1 year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Trainer, second by Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, John.
You got another job.
May I have a motion to approve the full and final release agreement with ICANN Architecture? Motion made by Ms. Heen. May I have a second? Second by Mr. Brodsky. Any discussion on this item? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed?
No.
The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the confidential student settlement agreement and release? Motion made by Ms. Heen, second by Mr. Montani. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the first read of policy 216, student records?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Trainer, second by Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. I have a motion to approve the facilities modification request to label the stadium sections for identification by emergency personnel. Motion made by Ms. Heen, second by Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the dance troupe travel request?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Montani, second by Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the Watson Institute agreements for 4 students for the 2025-2026 school year? Motion made by Ms. Heen, second by Mr. Montani. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the tuition contract with the Bradley Center for the 2025-2026 school year?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Heen, second by Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. I have a motion to approve the Allegheny Clinic Chill Agreement for the 2025-2026 school year.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Chura, second by Mr. Montani. Any discussion on this item?
Just a comment that I'm so very glad that we are supporting this and have this in place for the upcoming school year.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. I have a motion to approve the agreement with Wesley Family Services. Motion made by Mr. Montani, second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the 2025 extended school year agreement with programs of Western Pennsylvania School for the Deaf?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Chura, second by Mr. Montani. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the Keystone Credit Recovery Program, which allows students to recover, The superintendent recommends, and I so move, to approve the Keystone Credit Recovery Program, which allows students to recover academic credits at no cost to the district.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Chura, second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. Oh, I'm sorry. The superintendent recommends, and I so move, to approve the Allegheny Children's Initiative as the 2025-2026 Student Assistant Program provider. May I have a motion to approve the Allegheny Children's Initiative as the 2025-2026 Student Assistant SAP provider? Motion made by Ms. Heen. Second by Mrs. Drury. Any discussion on this item? All in All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 AIU Comprehensive Services Agreement, and Special Education Addendum in the Waterfront Learning Services Addendum?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Heen. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 AIU School-Based Access Program Support Services?
So moved.
Motion made by Mrs. Trainer, second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the 3-year contract with School AI in the amount of $18,000 per year? Motion made by Mr. Montani, second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the McGraw-Hill Reveal Math K through 8 pilot? The only cost, the only cost to the district will be, I don't know why that says that there.
One-time training.
So there's a one cost to the district, there will be a one-time training fee in the amount of $1,500. Motion made by Mr. Montani, second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the school portrait agreement with Interstate Studio for the 2025-2026 and 2026-2027, 28 school years at no cost to the district?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Chura. May I have a second? Second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Bridgeville Public Library, which will begin on August 1st, 2025, and end on June 30th, 2026. The initiative, created by the Allegheny County Library Association, would give every student in the district a free library card. With their free cards, the students would gain access to the county's free educational databases and e-books and would be able to use their cards at the library in the county.
So moved.
Motion. Who was first?
Me. They got a great library there. Great people work there.
Motion made by Mr. Chura, second by Mr. Montani. Any discussion on this item?
Just a point of interest that not only is this for the Bridgeville Library, but having that card gives you access to a number of online resources that your students can use at will by having that library card.
All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the participation with the School-Based Access Program, SBAP, in fiscal year 2025-2026?
So made.
Motion made by Ms. Heen. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the AIU Alternative Educational Service Agreement Addendum for the 2024-2025 school year? Is that correct? Oh,
Should be 25, 26. Well,
yeah, that should be 25, 20, that's, yeah.
So we want to read the motion correctly.
Yeah.
And just correct the typo in the minutes.
Okay, so may I have a motion to approve the AIU Alternative Education Services Agreement Addendum for the 2025?
I apologize, I'm sorry. That is correct. This was a addendum to an agreement we had in 24-25 that they then billed us for, but we had to pay the addendum amount because it was additional services Jay did explain that to me, so that is
Yes.
correct, sorry.
Okay, so
Yes,
I'll
and
just
I'll
read it.
confirm that from AIU.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
read it
That's-
again.
yeah,
May I have a motion to approve the AIU Alternative Education Services Agreement Addendum for the 2024-2025 school year? Motion made by Mr. Montani, second by Mrs. Heen. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve a contracted school psychologist for the 2025-2026 school year through Stepping Stones as presented? Motion made by Mr. Montani. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Chora. Any discussion on this item?
Just a question, why contract out rather than have this as an employee under our Act 93? Is there a benefit or?
So we currently have 2 employees under Act 93 and 1 contracted right now. This is a different contracted employee for next year. So it's the same, we still have 2 in-house.
2 in-house, 1 contract. Thank you.
The contracted person was filling in for a leave. That person's coming out, coming back, somebody else is going out. The contract's going to fill for that person that's going out. We'll be staffed the same. We have 3 people that we had. It's just 2 will be in-house, 1 will be contracted.
It's a different company though, right?
This is a different company than we currently contracted with right now, yes.
Oh, okay.
This is a new contract with a new company. It was the recommendation of Ms. Fiore.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to adopt and approve the general fund budget of the Chartiers Valley School District in the amount of $79,015,195 for the fiscal year beginning the first day of July 2025 with the necessary revenue for the same period of the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, provided by an earned income tax resolution, a deed transfer tax resolution, and an occupational privilege tax resolution adopted May 25th, 2004, in a realty transfer tax resolution dated January 9th, 2007, and by a school tax on a real estate which is hereby levied and assessed at a rate of 20.1909 mils, or at a rate of $2.02 for each $100 of assessed valuation of taxable property, and to adopt and approve the Chartiers Valley School District Budget Resolution dated May 27th, 2025. All taxpayers required to pay tax on real estate imposed by the school district shall be entitled to a 2% discount within 2 months after the date of tax notice, shall be charged a penalty of 10%. Chair is hereby directed to append a copy of the budget to the minutes and give notice to the Department of Community and Economic Development of the Act 511 taxes as required by law.
So made.
Motion made by Ms. Heen. May I have a second? Second by Mrs. Drury. Any discussion on this item?
Discussion. I'm not saying this just for me, but I'm saying it for a number of people I've spoken with over the last year. I'm out every day and night. I go to restaurants, I go to Home Depot, Lowe's, Starbucks, you name it. And all I heard from people, at least 95% of them, was please don't raise our taxes. We're getting killed by Scott Township, we're getting killed by the county, we're on fixed income. Please look out for us. And I think this is a good thing, and that's exactly what we did. We looked out for our taxpayers. Thank you.
So I have some additional thoughts here. Yes, it does balance the budget, and that's where we need to be. But it is disproportionate to security and safety as opposed to curriculum. That may be where we are right now. But I'm concerned about the plan moving forward. How do we keep this from happening over and over and over again? Because we will not have 30 retirements every year to put us in the right. So I challenge administration and the board to come up with a fiscally responsible and sustainable plan to move us forward past this year. Thank you.
Yes, I have a comment also. I'd like to thank Dr. Joe and Dr. Castagna, along with his team, for, again, navigating through some treacherous waters and coming up with a balanced budget, which also gives us a foothold to do this year in and year out, with hopefully without raising taxes. And I'd also like to thank Beth, who's not here, thanks to the way she was treated by the mob on her last day here. She did a lot of work, and when she left here, she felt very, very bad about the way she was treated. So congrats to you guys for that. Also, I want to thank the board majority for having the courage and the stamina to withstand a relentless onslaught of name-calling and innuendos and accusations. And again, nice job by the board majority. Dr. Castagna, you and your team have done more in 6 months here than the previous board majority and the previous superintendent, and I thank you.
Let's not forget that we would have left this mess.
Well, that's been conveniently forgotten.
Okay, so they're gonna go back and forth.
I'm sorry?
Okay, yeah.
Just one comment about the path forward. Obviously, budgets are something you have to analyze every year. And we have to look at what these predictions, how they plan out, right? Because we're guessing where we're gonna be 12, 13, 14 months from now. A lot of things happen. We know that. The assessed valuations could continue to go down. We could collect less in taxes. There's a lot of variables going on. But I will say, we are making significant investments in security, but the largest investment, as Mr. Hubert explained to the board in the back, the largest investment is in the cameras and the door access controls that come with a 10-year warranty. They can be replaced anytime in 10 years. And we're doing that instead of replacing 20 cameras this year, replacing 40 cameras the year after. As he mentioned, most of them are outdated and not working. So the big costs that we have in this budget won't be a reoccurring cost. So I think that's important to note, that big ticket item. And then the path forward becomes the analysis and review. I look forward to having a full year under my belt before we look at the next year's budget. But again, we will start those discussions in the winter, and we will have public discussions starting in January again. Again, I know these aren't easy, and I know not everybody agrees with everything, but I do want to thank our team, because everyone spent a lot of time to try to get this proposed tonight in a manner in which A, passed a balanced budget, recommended a balanced budget, but also address some of these needs. We do have a safety and security need in this district, and we do have an academic need in this district. So we are beginning to address both of those with this budget. So thank you for listening, and again, this is a fluid matter that we will never not pay attention to. So thank you.
Hey, thank you. Kelly, can you call the roll? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It wasn't, sorry. I ditto what Ms. Trainer was saying, and I'm conflicted about the budget also because I'm glad that it's balanced and you're presenting us the balanced budget. However, it's very concerning, some of the safety things that we need to update, but I also think it's necessary, but it is very lopsided in the fact that we just cut all kinds of programs. And so it seems like we're putting more emphasis on security than education, but I hope that by doing the pilot with the math, that we're focusing on that as well. But this is a lot of money to spend, and I feel like I think Samantha had mentioned that like maybe it's a little bit too much, but if it's in the budget, I hope that, that if it's for students, that's what I'm conflicted about, because I want to make sure our school is a safe place, but also that we're continuing learning, because obviously we have some deficits that we need to come back from that as well. But we just have to work together to try to figure out how we can sustain this.
Sure. And it is 100% for student safety. That is what all these ideas, initiatives that work, everything Mr. Hubert presented, both in the back and up front, it's all about student safety. We have to be able to look parents in the face when they drop their children off and say, we did everything we could to give them the safest environment. That's what we're working towards, and that was, if passed, what we will present publicly in August.
Anybody else? Kelly, can you call the roll?
Mr. Brodsky?
Yes.
Mr. Cora?
Yes.
Mrs. Drury? Yes. Mr. Olick or Mr. Montani? No. Mrs. Sexton? No. Mrs. Trainer?
Yes.
Ms. Heen?
Yes.
And Dr. Mariano?
Yes. The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 Homestead and Farmstead Exclusion Resolution authorizing the Act 50 and Act 1 Homestead and Farmstead exclusion for real estate tax deductions for the school year beginning July 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Chura. May I have a second? Second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 proposed administrative budget of the South Central Area Special Schools Jointer?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Montani, second by Mr. Chura. May I have a roll call vote, Kelly, please?
Mr. Brodsky?
Yes.
Mr. Cora?
Yes.
Mrs. Drury? Yes. Ms. Heen?
Yes.
Mr. Montani? Yes. Mrs. Sexton?
Yes.
Mrs. Trainer?
Yes.
Mr. Olick? Dr. Mariano?
Yes. The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the agreement with Kellington Security as presented?
So made.
Motion made by Ms. Heen. May I have a
Second.
second? Second by Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item?
All right, so I've been kind of collecting my thoughts about this for the last how many minutes. Everybody in here pretty much knows how supportive I am of our SROs, and I did have concerns coming into tonight how that would affect all these security proposals, how it would affect our SROs here at CV. And up until tonight, really those concerns weren't answered, but I applaud Dr. Castagna and Mr. Kellington for directly addressing that and saying point blank how important the role of the SRO is. So I do appreciate that, and I also appreciate your presentation, answered every question from the audience. That goes a long way, and thank you for being here to directly answer the concerns people had. I do like how the contract that we're voting on tonight is open-ended, and we're gonna have a chance to refine a plan, and I do expect before the school year starts, we can vote on that plan publicly when it comes to who's gonna be where, how many guards are gonna be in how many schools. I think that's something we should discuss and then vote on publicly in the next 2 meetings prior to school starting. But I am gonna vote yes on this because my biggest concern, which was the SROs, has been addressed, and I thank you for doing that.
I would like to add on also. I also had a lot of questions about like how it was going to play out, where you were going to be located, and I was concerned about the SROs as well as some questions I had received. But I feel like you have a vested interest in CV, the way you explained it, and also like being a teacher myself and knowing what kind of needs, especially like what Chrissy was mentioning about the primary school, especially like those type of kids and those younger kids really need a different kind of empathy and care And also, as far as like with the security, going back to that as well, like overall, another thing I was thinking about with the cameras and things like that, this, and your additional security that you're offering, like there's a lot of blind spots, as we know, in lots of different schools and places. So I feel like you guys can help fill in those gaps where the SROs and other people and cameras may not be able to see. So that's really helpful. But I feel like with the cameras and the things that we're proposing for the budget as well, when I think about that, like this is kind of like something that maybe you let go at your house for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's this huge expense because you kept just saying, we're going to do it later, we're going to do it later. So I feel like this camera system and the things that Dr. Castagna is like presenting, as much as I'm really hesitant with the money and I just hate pulling the trigger like that, I feel like something that we probably should have been keeping up with and doing along the way, and it just was one of those, we'll do it later, we'll catch up with it later, and now it's unfortunately a bigger thing to tackle. But I appreciate you guys coming and answering the questions, because I know we all had a lot of concerns, and I hope that you're going to work with the SROs and we can really keep the kids, safe here at CV. Thank you.
Anybody else? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. I have a motion to approve the proposal from Board Docs LT for a document management system at a cost of $2,700 per year with a one-time startup fee of $1,000.
So made.
Motion made by Ms. Haynes. May I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Churro. Any discussion on this item?
Yes, just a brief one. I am in favor of this, and there's a ton of schools out there that use board docs. It's it's pretty much the standard when it comes to housing documents and agendas and all that. My question is, the stuff that goes back a decade or more on our current system, is that stuff going to be archived? How is that going to work?
Yeah, we have to. So we have to make that archivable. Board Docs works with these systems, and then they archive it as part of the new system. So all that will be part of the training. First thing, once this is approved, the first group we're going to train is the board on how to use it. I think it's going to be much more user-friendly. Oh, the goal is to go into effect for the August board meeting. Yep. That's the goal. We are going to be training Dr. Sable and we both have used board docs, but having not touched it in a year or two, I want to get my hands back into it again, and our confidential secretaries as well, and then we'll have a board training.
So I currently use board docs as an AIU board member and can attest to the fact that it is very user-friendly. It is easy to get to your documentation and to work with that. So to allay any fears with board docs as an operating system.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the 10-year agreement with Verizon Information Services for the installation and implementation of a unified security camera system and door access control at all district facilities? Motion made by Mr. Montani, second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item?
Yeah, something brief. I'm speaking more tonight than I pretty much have in years, but I again want to applaud Dr. Castagna for this. I respect when somebody has, in regards to anything, a plan or a vision, and with safety and security, he definitely has one. And this is going to cover us technologically where we are behind 10 or 15 years when it comes to cameras or software, and this is going to bring us up to speed. So I am also going to vote in favor of this. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, Dr. Castagna, for moving us so far ahead. All of these areas in your very small young 60s.
Yeah, and just last quick comment. The dollar amount did make me queasy, but we hire professionals professionals to vet these things and make recommendations, and my respect for Dr. Hubert and Mr. Renowitz is enough that I respect them as professionals to bring this plan to us. So thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve Axis Architecture PC as the architect of record for the district under the fee schedule as provided. This will be a replacement of the current architect of record.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Chora, second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item?
Just some clarification that this is just the architect of record and it is not approving any specific plan or anything like that, but we can move forward based on their evaluations, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 day school services agreement?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Heen. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Brodsky.
Third.
Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the Infinite Campuses Campus Workflow Add-on? This solution will allow the district to continue to enhance safety and security within the district. Motion made by Mr. Montani, second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the purchase and full deployment of the Raptor Technologies Emergency Management and Visitor Management Solution, including the provisioning of emergency response buttons for all building staff?
So made.
Motion
Second.
made by Ms. Heen, second by Mr. Chura. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the purchase and implementation of CRG mapping for all school buildings in the district to allow for standardized, high-resolution map of each building that integrates key safety details. In addition, these maps are designed to be compatible with law enforcement and emergency response systems, including the Raptor Technologies platform.
So made.
Motion made by Ms. Heen. May I have a second? Second from Mr. Grosky. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. The superintendent recommends, and I so move, to approve the April 2025 payments for the 2024-2025 annual budget, including charter schools, in the amount of $5,705,596.71.
So made.
Motion made by Ms. Heen. May I have a second? Second by Mrs. Brewery. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. I have a motion to approve the April 2025 payments of the construction invoices as presented.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Jura. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Heen. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the adoption of the Basic Emergency Operations EOP to support the safety and preparedness of all district stakeholders?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Jura. May I have a second? discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the request from Glendale Fire Department Fire Chief Frank Salerno to use one of the parking lots at the intermediate school on June 18th, 2025 from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the purpose of conducting the department's annual fire hose and ground ladder testing.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Montani, second by Mr. Jura. Any discussion on this item?
They're a great fire department.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? The motion passes. The informational item was discussed last July. This is the volunteer service tax credit program. Just like the administration, make sure that they go over it and then maybe talk to the fire departments a little bit to get their feedback on it before this goes up for approval. And then, Kelly, did anyone sign up to speak on agenda items this evening? Or non-agenda items?
Yes, first Emily Marco.
Hi, Emily Marco, 43 Fairview Drive, Sky Township. Just a quick one, can't hear you.
Can you?
Your story, okay.
You good?
I wanted to give a big thank you to Mrs. Lisa Trainer for the time that you have given to AIU. I know that it's been something that you hold very seriously and dear to your heart, and I think that we all should give you a huge thank you for the time you've committed being on directors with AIU. It was a high honor for you to represent this district, but it's also a high honor for the district itself. And it was a huge asset, and I'm very sorry to see that lost for the districts that not in benefits anymore. But thank you for being the educational representative for us. Additionally, I wanted to echo what some others up there had said, that Dr. Casagna, I am very grateful for the very detailed plan that you have put in place for security for the most important things in this district, which are our students. I would challenge you and everyone else up there to create an equally solid plan for quality curriculum for our students. And a third prong of that would be to create an equally solid plan for being top-notch employers and understand that, like you said, 50% of your pie chart are the people that work for you. And they are what make a difference in this district and in the lives of our kids and the students of the district. And I think all of that would be great if you could put that into a big, huge plan that's going to show us some sustainable way to keep the financials afloat and to start building a huge savings foundation that unfortunately we do not have right now. I know that's hard, but it's imperative for this district to survive. Thank you.
Next is Samantha Fuller. When board meetings keep getting canceled, the public loses time, access, and trust. And then we end up being here till 9 o'clock at night. It should be, I have a hodgepodge of things. It should be noted that this board majority turned down a deal with Providence Point for 15 years at $450,000 a year, which would have been a total of $6.3 million. And this new deal, based on the whatever we saw, is a 20-year deal for a total of $6.7 million. So in 5 additional years, we're only getting $0.4 million more because, and we turned it down because, and this was a quote, "We need to get us more money." Well, it didn't work out that way. I want to continue my comment from before because I ran out of time. I just also wanted to say that I was especially uncomfortable with school AI and Alex. It was said it's meant to support teachers, but it starts to feel like a slippery slope toward replacing them. Or at the very least, undermining the human connection that makes real teaching effective. Now, I'm a big fan of AI, but our kids need teachers. They need real people who know them, understand them, and can respond in the moment. And no AI program can do that. And finally, the budget. We had tonight a vote on a $79 million budget. And I think a lot of us are wondering how much of that is actually going directly toward educating kids and supporting the people who teach them. Now, I know it was noted that everything voted on tonight was included in the budget, but let's not lose sight that the fact that the reason we got there was due to furloughs and program cuts. That's how we got here. And as a member of the PTG board at the elementary level, I've seen firsthand how parent organizations have had to step in and buy basic things like trackers or agendas, folders, said walkie-talkies that were mentioned earlier, and the Scholastic magazine, which is part of our curriculum. Well, curricular resource, I should say. These things should be covered by the school district, not the PTG. When families are fundraising to provide items that support daily school operation, it makes you wonder where the budget is really going. As I said earlier, I'm not trying to downplay safety. I have gone through some of the most intense ALIS trainings that I would never wish upon anyone. But we have to remember that we're also here to educate children. Thank you. No more comments. Excuse me? No more comments.
I'd like to announce our next board meeting is June 24th, 2025. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Excuse me, real quick.
Yeah.
I want to give a thank you to our maintenance director, Pete, and his crew. They had the ability to look out of the box and look ahead because over the last number of years, none of our refrigerators or freezers were ever on generators of any kind. And by his team doing that, we saved, with this last storm, we probably saved $50,000 worth of food. So thank you, Pete, thank your team.